Cancel Joe Nami. Ukraine. Do you think Ukraine should be canceled for their opinions on Russia? They've said some things that are not very nice about Russia, and I am triggered the way that Putin is triggered on that nuclear button. All right, actually, let's recap. Putin wants to use some low-yield nuclear weapons, and he's been saying that, the U.S. used them in Japan, right? Remember, we used them, but we only used them in Japan because they were begging for it. Ukraine, they're not really that excited about a nuclear attack. Although it could do a lot for their whole economy. It could really stimulate their economy in ways. Ukraine right now, they're at an all-time low for production of fidget spinners. They used to be a real capital, sort of an economic capital for producing, fidget spinners, which is different from midget spinners, which is a toy where midgets are spun. The euphemism treadmill, as I always refer, is where we just keep replacing offensive words with other offensive words. But, the disability, the person of disabled capacities, in the future, that will be the insult. So let's take a couple minutes. Putin is turning 70. The man is turning 70. Happy birthday, Vladimir. We are all pulling for you. He wants to have part of Ukraine. It's part of his legacy. Who doesn't want to die having a little bit of Ukraine as part of their legacy, but it seems like lately Ukraine has been winning with the guns, right? Ukraine. I'm surprised Zelensky hasn't put a bullet in his head yet. That's probably what I would have done. So, he's a better man than me, though. I am, to be honest, at the beginning of this war, I thought about going to Ukraine. I thought about just buying a one-way ticket, and because I was feeling kind of suicidal, so I was like, well, I might as well just go fight in Ukraine. But then I started thinking, if I fought in Ukraine, I could make TikTok videos. And, it's been a lifelong dream of mine to be seen on TikTok by strangers, like my father. It's not easy to get your father to watch you on TikTok. Dad, can you please repost this? If you love me, stuff like that. But, Jesus, why am I having all this gas? Could be a side effect. Sometimes when I get anxious about nuclear war, I have gas. So it's a good tell. So I feel confident that Putin is going to use nuclear weapons because I've been having a lot of gas lately. Nuclear weapons, interesting. I was watching something the other night about, I think it's either plutonium or uranium, but Ukraine willingly gave up nuclear weapons, I think, like 10 years ago. And Iran, not so much. Iran, they are dying to get their hands on some uranium. I don't know why. They really want nuclear weapons, which it's so funny because they're so crazy. This is right now, actually. Okay, maybe this is the next story. Women, if you don't know this, women and other people are protesting and rioting in Iran. One woman, I forgot her name. She burned her hijab, right? She got a hijab and it had too much of her hair. No, she didn't burn it. Women are burning them now. I'm sorry, I put the cart before the horse, the hijab before the regime. But she burned her hijab. No. Why do God, I am retarded today, which is something that you can't be in Iran. Person of disability in Iran, as they would say. No, she got arrested for not wearing her hijab properly, and then she ended up mysteriously dead in police custody. So now all of Iran, and when I say all, I mean like it's actually pretty much just the Gen Z, just people in Iran that would be using TikTok. They were all rioting. And they're burning their hijabs. They're fucking... Some of them are looting shit. This is Diet Cranberry. I tell you, nothing gets in there. I'm pre-diabetic, I believe. I just have an intuition about this. Well, one time my doctor saw a pre-diabetes rash on my neck. But now I'm beginning to think that it's actually, I fall asleep most nights with an ice pack under my neck because my C7 vertebrae, shout out C7s. My C7 vertebrae is all fucked up because as soon as I got my student loans like 13 years ago, I used my student loans to buy a motorcycle, which I actually was rather profitable because I got into a fake accident and then I made $8,000 off of insurance fraud. The good old days before all this internet and accountability. Well, actually, the internet was around then. The good old days before accountability. But anyways, I did another episode about my insurance fraud, which is called How to Get Away with Insurance Fraud. Something that is hard to do in Iran these days. But anyways, so people are fucking around in Iran. A lot of the TikTok kids, it's really young people, like 18 to 24, and maybe children, maybe Iranian children. But if you don't know, Iran is an Islamic state-run government. You probably know that. But it's just fun to say, Islamic state government. But anyways, Iran, what did we want to say about them? They could be having more fun as a nation, as a whatever, as everyone. Let me make sure I'm still recording because as of now, this is a one-man operation, baby. Just like how Iran is run. Iran is ran by I think he's called, I don't know, the Shiite. No, that's a whole religion, Shiite and Sunni Muslims. I think he's called like Master Supreme Iran, Mr. Iran. But he's like this old dude with a gray beard and a big, like, kind of turban, but like a little fluffier. His turban's definitely a little fluffier. I think as a symbol of power. And he really wants nuclear weapons, but now all women want rights. So it's like you got to weigh, it's like, do you want uranium or do you want women driving and not wearing their hijabs, which protect them from God, I think. God likes to mutilate their genitals, and the hijab protects God from getting to I don't know how it works, but I might be confusing another country that mutilates the genitals. But if you think about it, Most of you that are watching this, you're probably circumcised. Isn't that genital mutilation? All right? It's unethical. Go email your doctor right now. Ask him for your foreskin back. All right? No foreskin left behind. God, these are some interesting theories that I am purporting. What else is happening? Well, the foreskin is almost like a family heirloom, if you think about it. You know, it's like this foreskin was passed down from your father to your grandfather. All right, I need to move on. Florida. Oh, this is a fun story. I love this. What's his name? DeSantis, the governor of Florida. Let me make sure my face. I think you're the first person I've spoken to today, and you're a camera, so isn't that interesting? Stretching my face. Governor DeSantis. This for if you're watching the video format. This is also on audio. Governor DeSantis, Florida has a hurricane, but before that, he was sending migrants. Migrants are people who've migrated from wherever the hell they're from. And they've migrated to Florida because it's got, nice weather. And most of the migrants go there. They leave their homes in Cuba or Nicaragua or Dominican Republic. They leave these places for a better life. They want to live in a place with the Don't Say Gay bill because they're tired. They're seeking refuge. They're tired of everyone saying gay in Cuba, big flamboyant culture in Cuba where people, they really like to say gay a lot. And would you believe it, do gay. They love to do gay things in Cuba and Nicaragua. El Salvador, the home of MS-13, basically an officially gay country. That's what happens in most of the gangs. To get initiated, you got to, this is my medication, you have to do gay stuff. That's what I was told personally by the MS-13 when I was initiated. They made me suck all their cocks. All right, I embellished that. But would I do it? Yeah, I would if they had a gun to my head. Or if I was 2 White Claws in. I would blow the whole MS-13 and not in a violent way. Because they're really just, what are they really? They're just people who, honestly, they're just people who are looking for love. They never got the love from their family, so the gang is actually a surrogate family. Would you believe it? Like when you go to the Olive Garden and they're like, when you're here, your family. Same thing with MS-13. MS-13, when you're here, your family. And that's how I like to be treated when I'm in a gang. I don't like, it's not like the other gangs, like the Crips. They're like, when you're here, you're a stranger. No, not with MS-13. It's everything about it is very family-like when I was there. I did an unpaid internship for MS-13, and it was one of the highlights of my life. Did a lot of PowerPoint presentations. Would you believe it? It's surprising how much they like PowerPoint. They love to make slideshows about their drive-bys. And, they're well-educated men. Most of how they learn to read actually is by reading each other's tattoos. That's how they learn to read. The neck tattoos, it's all about the vowels and the consonants. So props to them. All right. Who else? Who else is in the news? My favorite Koreans, the North Koreans. They fired 2 missiles, ballistic missiles. It's like, calm down, North Korea. save it for a holiday, but they're firing a missile over Japan, and it's one of the missiles that could contain a nuclear weapon. It's the type of missile. I believe it's an ICBM, an intercontinental blah, blah, blah. That's how I'd run the chief NASA or Space Force or whoever. You know, if I was a military general, I'd be like, yeah, fire the ICB blah, blah, blahs. Fire him and let's wipe Holland off the face of the earth. Hopefully. But yeah, North Korea. Why are they doing this? 2 missiles. I think one was towards South Korea too, and Japan. It's crazy, but I think North Korea, Kim Jong-un or Il, or whichever one he is, I know his father's one of them. He doesn't like Kim Jong-un. He doesn't like other Asians, okay? And I, for one, I'd like to start a movement in North Korea called Stop Asian Hate, because every time he fires a missile over Japan, that's Asian hate, okay? Now, granted, we, the United States, I'm a citizen still for now, we did drop a nuclear bomb over Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and that was really the original Asian hate. But, it was either that or keep fighting on the ground. They say we saved 300,000 lives by dropping those bombs, but, 300,000 American lives because we didn't want to continue fighting on the ground. So now everyone wants to use a nuclear weapon. Iran, North Korea, Putin, the US might jump in. Nukes are pretty popular these days. And I believe the aliens are watching us. I believe, Congress is talking about UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. And there seems to be an uptick of UAPs over Ukraine right now. I don't know what that's about. I'm not going to I'm going to do another episode. I'm not going to weave aliens into every episode. You know what? Deductively, I can't even, all right? But there are definitely unidentified such and such, If anything is unidentified, then it's potentially alien. I applied for a job today. No. I filled out the paperwork for a job. Oh, this is a fun story, actually. I can't believe I forgot to tell you this. So I was filling out the paperwork, and it was asking me, are you an alien? They meant, it was for tax reasons. Are you a tax alien? And I'm like, yeah, there have been a few years where I haven't paid my taxes, but that doesn't make me an alien, for evading taxes. But I have evaded taxes successfully a couple years. I'm sure it'll come back to bite me, as most things do. Most things have bitten me. Been bitten by a lot of children. And actually, when I was 8, I had an uncle. He was an uncle, cousin, very weird guy. He had a mustache, and he was balding. And we went to visit him in Montreal. And I was wrestling with him. And I think I bit him because I was 8, but then he bit me, and he bit me so hard. And I remember it was in the ass. My uncle bit me in the ass when I was 8 years old, and he wasn't even technically an uncle. He was like a second tier relative that we just called him uncle. And I felt violated because he bit me. It was only a few inches away from my asshole. Anyways, but I hope he's dead. He probably is. I think he might have passed away. In which case, I regret that. Well, anyways, no. Okay, taxes. Let's get back on track. Taxes, alien, I applied for a job. Okay, so I got a new job recently. And then I had to do... the other day I had to go in and do the drug test. Which is a problem because I've been doing drugs. So I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to have this job but it's like, hello, I was unemployed for weeks, for almost 4 weeks. Of course I'm going to do drugs. You know, it's like if you had sped up the hiring process and just told me like, hey, we think we're going to hire you, I wouldn't have done the drugs. But I took a very powerful edible. I was looking at the packaging and it said 5 milligrams or 50 milligrams. Somehow it said per serving and then there was ounces. Somehow I accidentally took 50 milligrams of marijuana edible. And normally you're supposed to take like 5 or 10. I've heard of a few people that have done 20. And that's a very large trip. That'll take you psychologically to North Korea. But I accidentally took 50 milligrams. And by the time it kicked in, I remember even asking, I was opening this show at Bananas Comedy Club in New Jersey. And I remember asking one of the other comics, I was like, are you sure this isn't 50 milligrams? The packaging says like 50 per serving. And he goes, no, man, it's 5. And so I trusted this person against my better judgment. But a lot of these smoke shops too, like there's smoke shops all throughout New York City. The packaging is not great. A lot of times they reuse packaging. These people, they're not running by FDA standards. So I took 50 milligrams of marijuana, I'm assuming. But by the time we got to Taco Bell, I was screaming at the top of my lungs. I can't remember exactly what I was screaming, but it was something about how they needed to have more employees and they needed to have more tacos. And I just remember being so high that my perceived consciousness, I left the mainframe of my skull and I could see my body. But not only could I see my body, I could see my skeleton. And I could see my skeleton, and it was like purple and yellow. I was freaked out. I thought I was going to die. But instead, I went to the display machine, and I just ordered more tacos. So that was not a bad decision. Almost every time I've done drugs in the past year, it's always been too much. It's very hard to get the dosing right, and yet we continue. So anyways, how did I get through this? Okay, so I have the drug test. I have to go to fucking New Jersey for some reason. Like take an hour bus to this stupid place, Concentra in New Jersey. And the bus driver's like, yeah, you're going to want to get off there. And so what I did was I went into CVS and I shoplifted. They have this drink, a detox drink that's supposed to detox your urine and your whole system. So I chugged this drink, which tasted like garbage. It tasted like most of the ingredients were creatine, turmeric, ginger, some herb called milk thistle, which is like plant cum. I don't know. It was, and I chug all of this. It's disgusting. And then I pee. You have to pee 3 times to clean out your system. And then I get there to Concentra, and it's pretty let's just say security is pretty lax. If I had wanted to smuggle some pee in, I could have done it. I definitely could have smuggled some pee in. I mean, these ladies, Martha, I forget the other bitch's name, but there was a bunch of people, and then the one guy named Josh who was telling them this story about how he wanted to get into a fight over a parking space. So it was mostly women and one man, and I had to go in, and I just ended up peeing, and I just kind of held my breath, and my thought process was, if I pass the drug test, then it's meant that I meant to work. And if I don't pass the drug test, well, I've already started my application for disability. Because I I have a lot of mental health issues. And, I just thought I'd roll the dice on that and see if I could get disability so I can keep podcasting. Disabled podcaster. Somehow, though, yesterday, or the day after I took the drug test, I get an email. I passed the drug test. Amazingly, this whole thing worked. The detox drink that's like not FDA regulated, it worked. I cannot believe this shit. So your boy's gonna be working, which is pretty cool. I think I'll be driving a truck. It's a film production truck or something. I'll be driving it around Manhattan, and I'm not sure how long I'm gonna do the job. You have to wake up at 8 a.m., and that's not really part of my ethos here at Cancel Joe Nami. Mostly what I've done over the past year is I've woken up at 11 a.m. and then I just find food. Mostly I eat noodles and then I use food stamps, and then there's a lot of shoplifting for food. But I've inherited very little privilege. I have a mentally ill privilege. But anyways, Iran. So I passed the drug test. So I could theoretically go and fight in Ukraine. You have to pass a drug test if you want to fight in Ukraine. I think Putin is dying. I think he just turned 70. There's a rumor that Putin has cancer. Putin has cancer. He should have. I'm guessing it's prostate cancer, because he doesn't look like a guy that has stimulated his prostate much. Because this is true. If you stimulate the prostate however you need or want to do it, you're something like 40 or 50% less likely to get prostate cancer, which is it's above your anus. And I'd have to say, if there was one kind of cancer that I think Putin would get, it's prostate cancer. But hopefully Putin will, upload his consciousness to Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse, and then he can just roam around there for a while with Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg has purchased like something ridiculous, like $1 million worth of property in the metaverse. The real estate market, personally, I think there's going to be a 2008 housing bubble crisis in the Facebook metaverse real estate market. The metaverse has been selling a lot of subprime loans. Personally, I've been selling them. It's a passion of mine to work in the metaverse real estate. And, I like to, my personal theory, I just like to give immigrants an opportunity to purchase as much real estate as possible. So why not just approve them, no down payment, no credits. Here's a 4 bathroom, 4 bedroom family home in the metaverse. I don't care if you're from El Salvador. I don't care if you used to be part of, MS-13. You're entitled. You have a God-given right to own property in the metaverse, and you will be getting it. All right. I am fatigued, and I feel like I've pontificated on a lot of global news that, quite frankly, is very important. And for those reasons, this episode is now over. Cancel Joe Nami.